Hello
Thank you, Ms. Pras.
everyone. Okay, yes. Hi everyone. I am Anagha Joshi from St. Lucia, an assistant tutor here. Also, I am doing internship with School of Programming. This is my extended period of internship here. It's really nice time I'm having here. Every day is a new learning. Every day I'm learning something new here. So this is actually, I must tell you, it's a perfect school, perfect place for those who are new to this IT field or those who want to start their journey like me in IT field. So I must tell you, this is the perfect school. So welcome all of you and all the best for your course journey. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Anna. All right. Ms. Choma, your mic is muted.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Okay, my name is Choma Igwe. I'm joining here from Nigeria. I am also an admin assistant here, and I'm also on internship, an extended internship. I want to let you know that joining School of Programming and Software Development is the best decision. Just like me, when I made that decision, it's been I don't regret making that decision because this is a very good place to learn. You're given the fundamentals and you are helped to know how to do it yourself. So it's been a wonderful time here. And then I welcome you again, once again. Congratulations. And thanks for joining School of Programming and Software Development. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Choma. All right, so we can start officially. So before we start, I'm going to introduce myself officially as well. So my name is Edmond Kaboy, and I'll also be an assistant tutor for this course. So you can always reach out to us in the WhatsApp group for any challenges you may be having in the course or any question from the school websites you may be having challenges with. Okay, I'm seeing a question here from Mr. Michael. So Ms. Mildred is currently in a meeting and would join us if she can, but she would always be here whenever we need assistance in the school. Ms. Mildred is the tutor, the main tutor for this course, and I will be the assistant tutor taking you on live classes, and sometimes Miss Anna would also assist in taking live classes as well. And Miss Mildred is the tutor and the founder of School of Programming. She has done a very wonderful job in the School of Programming. In fact, I once started here just like everyone else as a student, and prior to my programming journey, I had no knowledge about programming. I studied finance from University of Port Harcourt, Nigeria, and I only know things about accounting and not code. So I came to School of Programming after searching, trying to learn from other sources, and found it hard that I thought at some point that programming isn't for everyone. But when I came to School of Programming, Ms. Mildred has really done a perfect job in helping me to understand, and not just understand, giving me an opportunity to also learn great things and do great projects so far. So I've had lots of benefits from School of Programming, and I believe that whatever you're thinking, if you think programming is maybe this is your first time and you think programming is going to be difficult, I promise you will be surprised how easy you get to see a different perspective of programming. All right, so we're just going to look at the basics for today and also take questions or any related questions from the maybe your registrations or any questions you have about payment fees. So we can address them here in the live class. All right, so this is our first live class for the course. So we're going to be looking at the topics that we've already treated in the class lesson, and we're just going to go through a few of them and create something more illustrative from what we've learned from the class lesson. So I want to welcome you all again, and I promise you that this will be a one-of-a-kind experience or a perfect programming journey for you, just like I've seen, and as well as other staffs and interns from this school. All right, so today we are looking at the basic concepts of a web page, the HTML documents, and we're going to see how we're going to have just basic understanding of how they work. So first of all, we want to start with websites. So let's try to break it down so we understand where we're heading to, and we try to pick up from somewhere as basic as possible. So basically, website is like a digital book or a magazine that you can read and interact with on a computer or a phone. So every time you visit a website, you're looking at pages with pictures, words, and videos. Now, it's different from a file. So sometimes these websites are interactive. So you find out that some have different functionalities and features depending on what the website is, the project is built for. So how does websites work? Just like how books are made of paper and ink, websites are made of special computer codes. One of the most important codes that help make websites is called the HTML. So the HTML is one of the basic, one of the fundamentals of web design or web development. Now, the HTML stands for hypertext markup language. You can think of it as the instructions that tell the computer how to display words, pictures, and links you find on the web page. So those features, those functions you use when you use the web page, they are created from the HTML, which is the hypertext markup language. So let's look at an illustration of how we create the HTML document. All right, so here I have created a template that we're going to use for this exercise. So we are just going to look at a few of the things we've seen from the class lesson. And if you haven't watched any of the class lesson videos, if you're having any challenges, please let us know so we can help you with that as well. Now, we've looked at how to create a document from our system. So here I have a folder which I have saved in my desktop. So you can have these project folders in any directory you wish to have them on your system. So I have here a folder. I have named it week 1. Now, in my project folder, so your folder where you create your files, where you have all your files for your web projects, is usually called the project folder or a working directory. So you might hear these terms once in a while, so you understand what the person is referring to. So this is my project folder or my working directory, and here I have a file called intro.html. Now, you've seen from the class lesson that in order for us to have a document as an HTML document, we always need to include the extension HTML. So the browser can read the file as a HTML document. All right, now we have here first on the page, the doc type declaration. So this tells the computer that, hey, we are creating a web page, right? So think of it like the cover of a book that tells what kind of book you're reading. So it's not the story itself, but lets us know what's coming next. So by having the doc type declaration, it's just letting the browser know that you're about to access a web page, a HTML document, which is also a web page as well. All right, so the next tag here, we have the HTML tag. Now, first of all, what are tags? So we're going to use these terms often. We're going to either call them by tags or by element names. So when you see so let's first of all understand the tags. So tags are special words inside angled brackets like this. So tags are the building blocks of a web page. Like, you know, when you have bricks you use to build a house. So you can look at this as the building block of a web page, because without this, there's nothing to build on. Now, when you hear the term tag, it is usually with this syntax. So when you see the angled brackets, the less than and greater than sign with a word inside, sometimes we refer to it as tags, or we could call it by the name of the tag. So here we have the HTML tag. So I'm calling it by the name, which is called the HTML tags. And they all have different purposes on the HTML document or on the web page. So let's begin with the HTML tag. Now, this tag is like the outer shell of our web page. Everything that makes the web page box is placed between the open tag of this HTML tag and the end tag of the HTML tag. Now, tags can be can either be like this or a void tag. Void tags are usually without an end tag like we have for this HTML tag here. And then the lang attributes. So these attributes here helps to modify this HTML tag. And what this lang attribute here part is telling us that the computer, it tells the computer or the browser that our web page is written in English. So that's why the value here is in, and this is just a short value for English. So we could also have other type of English, and they have different abbreviations for them. And we could have for French, we could have for Spanish as well. Sorry. So we're not going to focus on this yet, but as we progress in the course, we're going to look more about this, because this is very important. This helps people who use screen readers or other tools to understand the language of the page. So if you're using a screen reader that reads the text on a page, it's going to pronounce the word according to the language you have specified. So we're also going to look more into it when we progress in the course. Now, the next tag we have here. So always remember, when you create your tags, the tags with closing tags should always have their relevant closed tags. When you open the tag, it should have its relevant closed tags as well. So we have this closed at the bottom. Now we have next here the head tag. So the head tag section is like the brain of the web page. It stores important information about the web page, but none of this shows up on the page itself. So I'm going to open the page, and this is the page we have, or this is the HTML document now that I have opened on my browser. So you can see that none of these contents here are displaying on the web page. And inside this head tag, we have the meta chassis. This line makes sure that our web page understands all kinds of letters and symbols from different languages. So you can as well research further to know the different character sets we have in for our metadata. Now, next we have the meta tag for our viewports. So this ensures that our web page looks good on both computers and phones. So it makes the page flexible and responsive. So I'm going to close this part so you can see the whole of it. So this is the syntax, and it's just telling the making sure that the browser scales according to the size of the device you're using. So it's makes sure that the contents are responsive on the page. So it could be a laptop, or it could be your mobile devices. And then we have the metadata for description, and this tells the search engines like Google what our page is about. So it's like a short summary of our page. So it's like I said, it just gives information, stores information about the page that are not displayed on the web page itself. So here you see my name is description, and the content is so this can be dynamic, but this remains the same because this defines what the meta tag is for. So here the content is a creative web page using only text formatting HTML elements. So that's what we're going to do for today's lesson, and I have added it to my description here. All right, so next we have for keywords. So this this metadata for keywords, it helps search engine. Okay, sorry. It's also, yes, it helps search engines find our page when people search for related words. So, for example, our page now has certain keywords. Let's say we're building. Okay, currently with this example, we are creating a web page for text-only formatting elements. So, if we have keywords like italics, since we're dealing with just text, when we specify those words here, like I have HTML, I have text formatting, I have plain text, web design, simplicity. So this helps search engines when you search for maybe any of these texts, these words on Google, it's going to bring up my web page because I have added it here on my metadata, telling that I have these words in my web page. And next we have here the metadata for author, and this lets people know who created the web page. And in this case, I did, so my name is the author for the content. All right, now we also have the title tag, and this tag just gives our web page a name, and that appears on the browser tab. So I'm going to display this. I have to hide this. So just like you see here, we have creative text only web page, and that's because we've named it in our title tag in the head area of our HTML document. So you could name it any name you think that page is about. All right, so now next we have the body tag or the body element. So you notice that we also have the head elements closed here after we have added all the metadata. So you can also see that the metadata are void elements. So they don't have close tags like we have for the head elements. So when we progress in the course, you're going to see different elements. Some have closed and some don't have a closed tag. And we will get used to them as you make use of them in your projects. Now, the body elements section is where we put everything we want to show on the screen. It's like the stage where all the actions happens. So inside the body elements, we can have things like images, headings, videos, everything you just find on the web page. Now, I have these comments here, and these comments do not display on the web page. So these comments are very, very important when you're developing your web page or a program. So here you can see I have it. So we've also seen this in the class lesson, and this is the syntax to write a comment in HTML. Now, you notice that this is telling me something. It says title section. So it means that now if I wasn't the one who wrote this code, if I am maybe collaborating with someone and I want to continue from where the person has stopped, from the comments, all I have to do is understand that this part is for title sections. So all I have to do is come up with the headings or titles on this part of the code. So you see how useful these comments are. And then maybe I was creating this page and forgot what I needed to do first on this page. But with the comments I have here, it helps me to understand that or remember what I was supposed to do on this part of the page. So I'm going to use our first formatting element, text formatting element, which is the H1. So I would write some content here and explain to us how it works. Let me say welcome to the text only web page. So I see from the question here, someone asked, so yes, the recording will be sent to the WhatsApp group. I'm sorry about your network. So the recording of this live class will be sent to the WhatsApp group. And Mr. Emmanuel asked if he has not been able to install Atom Editor. So you can use Visual Studio Code. Thanks very much, Anna. You can use Visual Studio Code. And if you also need assistance downloading the Atom Editor, you can reach out to us on the admin group, on the WhatsApp group, and we'll assist you with that. All right, so now we are going to start adding content to our web page. So let's see how this displays. Now, if you're using the Visual Studio Code, there is an option where you can toggle the live server. As you write your codes, they are saved and displayed on the browser. Now, here on Atom, we have to save. So for you to display your content, you have to save first using the Ctrl S for saving. And after saving, you refresh the page for you to see the changes that you've made. So you can either refresh here or use Ctrl R to refresh the page. So yeah, you can see that I have the text that I've had added to my heading, and it's displaying on the page. So I'm going to explain everything we're going to do here. So let's create more content for us to see. So you notice when I write my code, it gives me suggestions. So when you understand more about HTML elements, how they are structured, which you're going to do, and it's going to be very easy for you soon enough, you're going to know exactly what suggestion you want to use when the IDE is suggesting a code or an attribute for you. So I'll say exploring. Plain text. So I'll put this in my subtitle. And then you see, I am going according to the labeled comments I have here. So I'm trying to make sure that I work with what has been laid down to guide me to create this plain text web page. So here we're going to have a paragraph, and I'm going to explain it shortly. So I'm just throwing in the contents so we see how they look before I explain. And we can say this web page showcases the elegance, pure text formatting in HTML. Okay, so we're going to stop here before we add more content. Now, you from the body element, which starts immediately after the close tag of the head elements. So like we said, the body element is where we have all the contents that are displayed on the web page. So the section where we have everything like it is here, it's always in the body element section. Now inside here we have the H1, and this heading tag, think of it as the title of a book. Like, it's the biggest and most important heading on the page. You know, you can't miss a title of a book because it's usually bold and large, like something like this. So you can easily tell exactly what the book is about. Now, we also have another heading element, which is the H2 element. And this is, so I'm going to save this so we see how it displays on the page. So you can see the size, it's quite different. So this is similar heading, like a subtitle. It's just smaller than the H1. So with this, you can tell which heading or which title is more important by the size of it. So it's just like when you type on your Word documents, you always want to increase the size of the major titles, and the subtitles have smaller sizes. So we have more heading elements in HTML. We have from H1 to H6. So like you've seen in the class lesson, if we keep adding the different heading from H1 to H2, we're going to have different titles by sizes. But we're just going to stop here because we're trying to create a page. So we have specific elements that we need for this page. Now, next here we have the paragraph. And this stands, so the P tag here just stands for paragraph. It's how we add regular text, like how we add regular text to our page. Like, it's just say you want to make sure that after a heading, that the user understands that the next line is a paragraph. So we could add the text to the web page. But if we do not use the paragraph, it won't display the same way. So I want to add the text here. For example, I'm going to add text. So I'll save this, and you see that it displays just like this text. But now, while we use the P, or why it's important to use the P tag for paragraphs, is because you can't style this text. So there's nothing that holds this text for you to be able to format it the way we are going to do with the rest text on this page. So you see it's not in any element, but it displays on the page. Now it's not displaying on the same margin. It doesn't start the same way that the paragraph starts. So we can as well adjust our paragraphs to have indentations. So there are different text formatting elements we can do with that. But as you see here, we don't have this text in any elements. So when we want to start formatting this text, we won't be able to call the tag that holds the text. So we're going to also see other tags that we can use to add text, like the span tag. When we progress, you see different ways we can create more text on the page. But this is the best way for now that you can use to add a text using the paragraphs. So in these paragraphs, from between the open tag and the close tag, you can have more text and even add indentations if you wish. So you can add more text to your paragraph, and it's all going to be in this open and closed tag of the paragraph, or the P element. All right, so now let's look at exercise where we're going to format this text. We can add some more text to the page. Let's add H3. Let's use a H3. So before we continue, I would like to know if we are all following. If you're having any challenges or there's any part you don't understand so far, please feel free to ask questions so we can all move along. So are there any questions or any confusion? All right, so I'm going to add more content to the page. Let's add another paragraph. So we've seen from the class lessons the different elements. We're going to use different elements we use to format text. So we want to try and create more text on the page so we can make use of these elements. Now, the first one we want to use here would be the bold. So I would explain more, but I'm just going to create the contents of the text on the page first. So I'll call this bold. And you see, I am adding this in between the tags for the bold elements, because it has to hold the content for us to be able to have the effects of what the elements or the formatting is for on the text itself. All right, so then we can add the rest of the text in the paragraph tag. So we just isolated this just to make sure that it's formatted alone, separate from the other text we'll be having on this paragraph. So we could say bold, and what this would do would be highlights important text. Let's have another paragraph. Use emphasis here. Then this would stress. the specific word. Let's have another paragraph. And this will be for underline. And this would emphasize. Emphasizes parts of the text. Let's have another paragraph. Let's just have this as the last paragraph. We're going to use structure. And this just indicates removed or edited text. Okay, so I'm going to save this and I'll refresh the page so we see how they display. Now you can see here we have more heading, or we have another heading and paragraph. But now we're using text formatting to change how the text looks inside the paragraphs. So we have the first, we've seen paragraphs already, we've seen the heading. So here the bold tag or the bold elements just makes the text bold. So bold text is thicker, as you can see, and stands out, like making a word stronger in a sentence. So it draws more attention. And for the emphasis, so the EM element or the emphasis tag, this just makes the text, okay, sorry, this is for italic, so sometimes I still confuse them myself. So this is for italic. So this would make the word italic. So you can see that we still have the text here displaying slants to the side, showing emphasis as well. Now the third one we have here is for the underline, and this just underlines the text, drawing attention to it by adding a line below it, like we have here. So I'm going to shift this a bit. Okay. So you can see how this formatting gives more meaning to simple words. By having an underline, you can tell that there's a stress on this word, and it's something you should pay attention to. And then the structure tag, it just adds a line through the text like we have here. So it's often used to show that something is no longer correct and has been removed from the maybe group of text. So it's obviously that the structure here is going to be ignored, unlike when we have attention on other elements. So these are just basic text formatting elements, just like we have for your Word documents. The way you edit your text files, so you can do similar with text in HTML. So now let's also have one other example. I'm going to create another H3. so we can look at other text formatting. So I want this to be Y main text. In the paragraph. And in this paragraph, we want a bold tag, because it's simplicity. So it's clear and easy to read. Also, we have another one here. I'm going to make use of the bold again, because it's compatible. So compatibility. And compatibility just means it's going to work on all browsers and is screen reader friendly. Okay, so we now have another section here. I'm going to save this and refresh on the page. So why plain text, right? So we've been looking at just text, and you can't have, or you can't ignore the importance of plain text in web pages, because it's one of the most used elements, that's one of the most used contents we have on web pages. It's always useful. Without this text, or without proper formatting or proper organization of our text, no one will have understanding. Whatever language you are writing in or creating on your web page, you need to make sure that they are well formatted to help the user understand what is on your web page. So in this section, we're explaining the benefits of using plain text with HTML. So again, we're using bold. We have the bold for the simplicity. So this should be up. So simplicity is clear and easy to read. That's one of the advantages of using text, and it's also compatible. So we also have more text formatting elements that we can look at. Let's look at when we want to have like a quote on the page. So we're going to have another H3. So I'm just trying to make sure we exhaust we create more examples as much as possible, so we can easily get our assignments correctly. Now, here, this would be for quotes. And we're going to have another paragraph. So you see how we'll make use of the paragraphs. It helps us organize the page very, very well. And we're going to have a block quotes, so no need for a heading here. I was trying to use the suggested. So block quotes. So we're going to ignore this for now. Would see that the use of the attributes we can have in block quotes as we progress. But now we just want to have a quoted text in the block quote elements on this page. So I can also make sure that it's on the same line, however you want to write your codes. So as long as you have the open tag, you have the close tag for each element that is expected to have a relative close tag, you just put in the content you want to display or you want to have in that element. So here I'm going to use your quotes and I want to say simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. And this is a quote by Leonardo. Vinci. So you see that we have every text inside the block quotes because we want to make sure that the block quotes is properly formatted as a quote, that the text inside the block quotes is properly formatted as a quote. And we also have it in a paragraph. We could as well have it outside the paragraph, but we want everything to be well organized, to be in proper formats, just like the other text we have on the page. So I'm going to save this and let's see how this displays. So the text comes, the heading comes first, and then you see the quotes is formatted differently from how we have paragraphs so far. So it's quoted and it's well formatted. Now there are more attributes, there are more we can do to this quote. We can style it, but as we progress, when we get to CSS and we look at other attributes we have in elements, different elements, we can as well add more to this blocked quotes. So we've seen different format elements. We've seen bold, we've seen italics, we've seen structure. So you can always refer back to the class lesson whenever you need to use, or maybe you need to remember how some formatting were done for your assignment purpose. So I think this should be enough. And if we still have any questions, please feel free to ask. So just behind. So there's something else we can add here, just to make sure that this page has some display. Since we're not looking at design yet, we're just dealing with just plain text. So there's a tag called the HR tag, and it's written as HR. So it's going to give us a line, a horizontal line. So they call it the horizontal rule. So it's just a fancy word for a line that goes across the page. It helps break the sections and makes the page easy to read. So if I save this now and I refresh, we're going to see the line that goes from the left to the right. So let's just end the so I'll put this before the farewell, because I want it to come in before our last text on the page. So it's a void element, as you can see, and does not have a close tag. Now you don't have to trouble yourself with trying to remember which of the tags are closed and not closed. As you can see, the IDE as well helps us to suggest the tag. So if you know the tag and you select from the suggestion, Visual Studio Code also has similar functions too. So it helps you to see which elements you're trying to add to the page. So when you use these elements often, you would always recall which one has the close tag and which one does not have a close tag, which one is void. But knowing that we have the different type of elements is very important. So you don't maybe add a close tag to a void element or a void tag. All right, so let's just add a farewell message to complete our plain text web page. So I'm going to use a paragraph for this. So it's more like a footer on a web page, but we're going to do this properly as we progress using the right elements for footers. So I want to use a different element we've not used. Let's use strong. And I'll say thank you. For resetting this main text journey. I have a let's use something here. Let's use an italic. Wonderful. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to save this, and we have our farewell message at the top. So you see how this page already looks nice just by using plain text formatting elements in HTML. So we've now learned how to create a simple web page using headings, paragraph, bold elements, italic, underlined text, and even quotes like we have. These are just building blocks for any web page, basically. So when you are creating a web page, there's no way you can create a page without these important elements. So I would encourage you guys to try your own HTML exercise, so you can experiment with different tags. You go back to the lesson we have in the class, look at more tags, research other tags that was not taught in the class lesson. So the very much less. I think everything basically was explained in the class lesson. So because of time, we're not able to use all of them to illustrate or create this page. So we just use what we need to. So we see how we can create something out of these elements. All right, so this is where we're going to end the session for today. And I want to believe that we all understand so far. Okay, so I have missed a message, or I've missed so many messages. I'm sorry. Thank you so everyone for responding. All right, so when you get the videos, when you get the record for this lesson, you can always rewatch it over on the YouTube channel. So I want to encourage us as well to subscribe to the school YouTube channel. It's usually shared. You get to the channel when you click on the link we used to share the live lesson videos, or you could just go to our YouTube page on YouTube and subscribe. So this way you'll be able to get notifications as soon as lesson videos are uploaded. So it keeps you up to date, so you see everything as it comes. All right, so I am going to end here, and once again, I wish you all success in your assignments, and don't forget to always reach out. Programming is not something you can do alone. You could if you maybe are blessed with such knowledge, but it's best when you share challenges, because you will have some challenges and they are not complex, because they will not be complex when you share it with someone. So always feel free to reach out to any of the admins, and we would always be here to help you. All right, so I wish you all success and have a nice rest.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Bye.